Hello, hello. I am Silka, Heart for Art. I teach people step-by-step how to paint online and in my studio. Now, if you are new to painting, there may well be some basics that you're not familiar with. So if you're watching any of my online painting tutorials, there may be some terminology that you don't understand. But don't worry, I'm going to clear that all up for you today. I'm going to help you get up to speed real quick and give you a quick run through some paintbrush basics so you won't get confused and you can get the absolute most out of your painting experience. So first things first, parts of a brush. Okay, this part here is known as the ferrule. All right, and it's basically the crimped bit. This bit is squeezed nice and tight and it all squeezes together there, and that's the bit that holds all your bristles in. You need that bit. So that is called the ferrule of the brush. All right, now this part here is called the toe of the brush. So I may say something in my tutorial like dip a toe. So I'm just referring to one toe. And so it just means you just need a tiny little bit of paint. You just dip a little toe. It's like when you go for a swim, you dip a toe in the water to see if it's warm enough yet. Generally not in Wellington, but so dipping a toe just means a tiny little bit of paint. Sometimes you'll dip two toes in two different colors and you let the paint mix on the brush. That is the toe of the brush is the whole thing. If you hear me say dip a toe, it just means use a small corner of your brush and grab a tiny little bit. This part here is known as the belly of the brush. All right. This is where all the paint sits. Okay. So when you load your brush with paint, most of it sits around the outside of your brush and on the belly of the brush. Okay. So when you're painting, if you're painting like so, and all the paint is sitting on the side of your brush, you may not be getting a whole lot of paint on your canvas. So I might say something like get your belly to the canvas. I'm referring to the belly of your brush and holding it more parallel to the canvas. So the belly of the brush is on the canvas where the paint sits, and you will be able to put more paint on. Yay. Or if I say fill your belly, it means use lots of paint. Okay, so that is the belly of your brush where your paint sits, and you want to hold it nice and parallel to your canvas to put more paint on. So those are the basics of a brush: a ferrule, the toe, and the belly. All right. Now, if you have brand new brushes, they may molt. All right, that is normal. Even really expensive brushes often molt, and that just means that a few little bristles might fall out while you're painting. So I make a habit of washing all my brushes, brand new brushes, before I use them, just to get all of those, you know, I do a little bit of a pull like this just to get any of those loose bristles out, and then they won't end up in your painting while you are painting. So just give them a wash under the tap, just rub them with your hands a little bit and do a gentle pull, not too hard, and just pull out any stray bristles, and then you won't have to deal with them while you're painting. Yay. Now, if you do happen to get a bristle on your canvas while you are painting, essentially you just sort of do a reverse hook. You just sort of scoop it up like so, and you just gently, not like too rough, but just gentle little touch, and you will pick that bristle up, and then you can get it off and carry on painting. Easy. Yay. So that's all before you're painting. While you are painting, I recommend that any brushes that you've used, you just leave them in your water pot. I always have my water pot here, and during the painting process, I always leave any I'm not using at that point. I just leave them in the water. And what that does is that if there's any residue, paint residue in your brush that you haven't quite gotten out, it doesn't dry. Even if there's a little bit of paint residue in there, it just means it doesn't dry out while you're painting and harden on the brush, essentially. If it does that, then it does actually ruin your brushes. So while you're painting, just leave them in the water, and then they will be much easier to clean later because the paint doesn't harden. After you've finished painting, though, clean your brushes straight away. Don't leave them in the water overnight. If you leave them in there too long, the water gets into the ferrule and into the wood that is in the brush, and the wood will swell and the wood will crack, and that'll wreck your brushes. If you're using synthetic brushes, if they're sitting in the pot of water like this overnight, they will come out of the pot of water and they will still be bent. They will stay bent. You can fix them. I've got a blog on that. But again, the water will get into the ferrule of the brush and swell, and the wood of your brush will crack as well. I've got loads of those because I've been a bit naughty myself. So yes, all right to leave them in there for an hour or 3 while you're painting, but don't leave them any longer than that. You want to get them out of the water, give them a good clean, and make sure to dry them flat as well. It's tempting to just pop them in a pot like yay. I only do this once they're dry though, because what happens is if you dry the brush upside down, any water residue is then going to soak back into the ferrule of your brush, and same issue, it's going to swell the wood, you'll get cracks. And the other issue there is that when this swells, it loosens its grip on the bristles, and the bristles fall out essentially, and you'll have a bald brush. Nobody wants a bald brush. Well, that's just a stick. Yeah. You want to preserve your brushes, so make sure to dry them flat, and that way no water can run into the brush afterwards while it's drying. You can put them in a jar afterwards when they're dry, all good. Now, if you're nervous about painting anything, I personally have a practice canvas. This is where I practice anything that I don't want to put straight onto my canvas. You can see all sorts of different things I've practiced there. And then I paint over it white, and I can reuse it as a practice canvas again and again and again and again, many times. So if you're nervous about painting anything, it's handy to have something to practice on. You can use a canvas, you can use canvas pads. I haven't got any handy to show you. Just a piece of paper, bit of cardboard, anything, just something to practice on if you don't want to put it straight onto your canvas. All right, practice makes perfect. So if you want to practice anything, have a spare canvas, anything to try on first. So I hope that's been helpful. If you want more tips, pop over to my blog, heartforart.co.nz. There it is there, heartforart.co.nz, and up in the menu you will see blogs. There's loads of helpful tips and tricks and all sorts of things that you can learn about painting, and it will just upskill you and improve your creative skills. There's loads of stuff there, including brush care. I've done one on brush care, how to properly clean your brushes, fix munted brushes, all sorts of just looking after your brushes so they last longer. There's ones on blending, how to do shading, what art supplies to buy if you're not sure what brushes to get. And there's lots of quick, easy, free painting tutorials as well to help you practice all your different painting skills. So heartforart.co.nz, click on the blog and the menu, and you will see them all there. So I hope that helps, and I hope this one has helped, and I'm so looking forward to painting with you and helping you create beautiful art very, very soon. All right. Paint with you soon. Bye.